we kind of just keep it simple.
For sure. For sure.
If you build it, they will come.
Yo, do the drop. You know what I'm saying?
I put this on everything.
Party people.
I love
It's your boy
my
Mazi.
my clothes. Yes. I thought I told you this is my world, baby.
Party people in the place to be. It's your boy Mazi. All right. Appreciate you, man. As y'all can see, we are live on location here at True North. Who else to talk to but the guy, the head honcho here at True North, Eddie? What's going on, man?
Not much, bro. Glad you guys came by.
Think I wouldn't go through hell and back to live this life? You fucking right, this shit ain't over and overnight. Hard times, rich and famous, but we intend to Let's take it back to my one-bedroom TV on the floor. Back when we couldn't see our dreams, but knew we wanted more.
Listen, thanks for having us.
I appreciate it.
First time, like I said, being in here when I first met you. This spot is super dope.
Thank you.
Yeah, we definitely got to talk later because I definitely saw some some shoes that I definitely wanted. We'll talk
for sure.
Man, so how you been, man?
I've been good, man. Just grinding.
Yeah.
Keeping busy, working my 15 million jobs, but this is actually my second job.
Yeah.
So, but this is a job that I actually enjoy.
No
stress, just chill.
I was gonna ask you that. So how's it treating you, man? Because I know the sneaker business is kind of it can be crazy at times.
Honestly, it's not as bad for me. I think at the moment. Because I was able early on to build a lot of relationships and to get a lot of plugs and connects for me to get like sneakers and stuff like that. So I think now it's a little easier for me than it was in the beginning. But I think, it's just a lot easier.
For sure. So for those who do not know and have literally been living on the rock since True North is probably one of the biggest stores here in the city, who is Eddie?
Who is Eddie?
Yeah.
Me or little Eddie?
Both, I guess, right? Because, it's both of y'all's shop, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's more his shop, but it's mine as well.
Sure.
Me, geez. I don't even know where to begin. So, I moved here actually in 2008. I moved here for work. I started in the oil fields. So, I've been working in the oil fields, actually a full-time job since 2008.
Wow. So
to this day.
Yeah.
So I work probably about 15 hours a day every day. I start my days at 5 a.m., work until 8 p.m.
Wow.
And then I come here and, do my thing here. My thing here. But yeah, I got here in 2008 and been here since.
Nice. So with the oil fields, is business really booming like that? Because
believe it or not, it's insane. It's insane.
I hear stories about people working on the oil field and making crazy money and all that stuff too. So
there's a lot of opportunity to make crazy money.
Yeah.
It's just you got to know how to manage it. Because I work with a lot of younger kids, but I also work with a lot of older kids. And when they come on board, I always tell them, save your money, save it for a rainy day, invest it.
Yeah.
But it goes in one ear and comes out the other ear. The next week I see them in a $60,000, $70,000 truck. The next week I'll see them with a hitch on the back and they got a boat. I'm like, you must still be living at home.
Right.
But
yeah.
No, it's just real important. I tell them just save because, it's always ups and downs.
For sure.
Right now it's on the up, but just busy.
Yeah.
Real busy.
For sure. And so, like you said, doing the oil field thing with, that being your job and then coming here, is that maybe, giving you any stress at all, trying to juggle both of these at the same time?
Tons of stress.
Yeah.
Tons of stress. It's basically a family operation. So we all have our parts and the bus is going.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a lot of stress.
Almost the battle of balance, it seems.
Yeah, it's a stress for everybody. It's a stress for the family, because the things I told you earlier about what I have to do here, I don't want to mention it on here, but there's a lot of stress involved with that.
For
You
sure.
know, a lot of sacrifices that we got to make, and a lot of things behind the scenes that people don't, when they run a business, there's a lot of things you don't see behind closed doors that actually happens, and it's definitely stressful.
And that's why Skrills and I, we wanted to bring you on here. We know for being one of the successful entrepreneurs, to really do this and to give those that information and inspiration to the people, the viewers that's watching, or listeners as well on the podcast, starting up a business and sharing those stories of the ups and the downs, and getting started and things like that. I guess to start from the beginning, man. So where did this the idea for True North come apart?
So started way back. Actually, no. So back in the days, I actually used to be a sneakerhead, growing up. And then I don't want to go too far back, but I used to collect sneakers and clothes and all that, probably to about, I'd say, late 90s, 96, 98.
Glory years.
And then my son was born in 2000.
Okay.
So I didn't want to raise him in New York because it was tough out there.
Yeah.
I didn't live in the greatest neighborhoods, and I just didn't want to raise him there.
You want to shout out the borough?
Long Island, New York. From Long Island, New York to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Had about 10 cars in 2 months.
Oh wow.
Getting broken into, getting stolen.
No.
It was just a tough neighborhood.
Yeah.
I mean, and going to the schools and everything there, I just didn't want him going there.
For sure.
My school was definitely rough.
Understandable.
So I just wanted something better for him, and so we moved to Miami.
Nice.
Moved to Miami. So I went to college out there and everything. So
okay.
when I went there, I kind of already understood, what areas to go to and stuff like that.
For sure.
So we were there from 2000 to 2008. And we left there, came here to San Antonio. My son was actually born with a club foot. So I was kind of telling you earlier.
Right.
So he had to have his foot broken and reset every 2 weeks for 2 years.
That's
so
crazy.
His foot, so everybody's feet are like this. So
Sure.
basically his foot was like this. So they basically had to keep breaking in and set it until it was the normal stance.
Whew.
And then they had to turn it a little more. And then once they did that, they had to leave it in the cast. And then after the cast, they had to do an incision on the tendon behind the heel to release some of the stress from pulling it back.
Right.
Then after they did that, then they had to do an incision on his big toe and his pinky toe, and they had to take the muscle and crisscross the muscle so that the foot would stay straight. Because if they left it the way it was, his foot would have went right back to where it was.
Yeah.
So that was a little tough on all of us emotionally,
I bet.
going in there to the doctors and watching him scream at the top of his lungs and having to cut the cast off every 2 weeks. So when my son finally got the cast off his foot, being that he had it on so long for almost 3 years, one of his feet is about a size and a half to 2 sizes different from the other foot.
Yeah.
So as of right now, he's like a size 11.5, 12 in one foot, and like a size 9.5, 10.5 in the other foot.
Meaning you have to buy 2 pairs of shoes.
So exactly. So from 2000 and since he was born,
Yeah.
I had to buy him. Well, I couldn't buy him sneakers till he was 3 because he had that cast on his foot.
Right.
So I was buying him 2 pairs of sneakers to fit all the way until he was probably about 13 years old, and then that's when he started getting taste.
and the thing is, people, like, if y'all listening and watching this right now, and y'all are some sneaker addicts like myself, he's not in the kid sizes. These are men's sizes.
So
and you're paying,
Yeah.
So say, let's just for example, a pair of foams, which retail they're like $230 maybe.
Yeah. So when he started
Oh my
getting
God.
into the sneakers is when the Yeezy Pirate Blacks came out. the Turtle Doves, all those sneakers came out.
Oh my god.
So he's wanting these sneakers.
Yeah.
You know, but I'll take it back a little bit more because I remember I was telling you I used to be a sneakerhead.
Right.
So I kind of got away from that for a while. You know, life went on, got married, all that stuff. So now bump it back to when he's a teenager, 13, and these Turtle Doves came out, and he started getting into sneakers. So he's like, I need these sneakers. I got to have these sneakers.
Right.
And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to spend $2,000 to get 2 different size sneakers. I said, I'm just not doing it.
That's crazy.
I said, I love you, but I can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the money was good in the oil field, but
Sure.
I just couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you need to figure it out. So that's when he got on the internet and started searching and entering raffles and doing all this stuff. And he actually scored, I think, like 3 or 4 pairs. I can't remember.
Wow.
And he actually ended up selling them all. So the money he made with all those, he was able to
Get his 2.
get his pair.
Listen, little Eddie, if you watching, you a lucky man, because every time I try to enter a raffle, I strike out.
But yeah, it was different back then. You actually had a chance.
Right, for sure.
So anyway, I'll bring it back a little bit more. So during that time from 2000 to about 2012, 2013, I had all these sneakers that were all oddball sizes because we always kept the other pair.
Right.
So there were 2 oddball sizes, and like, what are we going to do? That was like, I don't know, 75, 80 pairs.
Wow.
So like, what are we going to do with these oddball sizes?
Sure.
So he's like, let's go to the Intrepid. So the Intrepid is actually, for those that don't know, it's for the wounded warriors. It's the base, the military base, right off of 35. And they basically, it's for all the amputees.
Gotcha.
So it's like, all right, let's go there. So we actually went there with all these sneakers, and we went to the front desk, and it's like, hey, we got all these, you know, oddball size sneakers, and you know, we figured with all the amputees there, it would work for them. So they were like, hell yeah. They were happy as hell. They took them all. I mean, they had some hype sneakers in there. They had, you know, some regulars in there, but we just donated all of them to them.
That's what's up.
So it was pretty cool. So yeah, so basically, like I said, he got on that Yeezy ride, and he got those, and then from there, the rest was history. He just started going on the computer like daily in school, and wherever he was just going on, entering raffles, buying sneakers, and he was flipping them to get his pair. So he would get like 5 or 6 pairs, sell them to get his pair. And then it got to the point where he just started buying stuff and saving it. Yeah. And saving and saving and saving. And till the point where it was like I was walking in his room, and it was like, looked like a department store. And I'm like, what do you plan on doing with all this stuff? He's like, oh, just, you know, just saving. I'm collecting it. And then it became from the bedroom to the living room to the dining room. And it was just everywhere. And then, you know, as time went on, he's like, you know, I want to open my own store. Yeah. So I was like, I figure he's a teenager. I'm like, you know, they get in and out of fads. One week they want to do this, next week they want to do something different. Right. So I was like, yeah, okay, all right. So I kind of let it go for a year. And then I think he was about 15, and he was still wanting to do it. Yeah. And he was actually selling to kids in his school and just everywhere. Yeah. And so he was 15, and I was like, let me look around San Antonio, trying to find a shop. And I came across Felix at Soul Boutique. Yeah. So I got with Felix, and I'm like, hey, you know, my son is interested in, he wants to open up his own store. So is it cool if he works here? And you don't have to pay him or nothing. Just let him get a feel for it and see if it's something he really wants to do. Right. So Felix is like, yeah, no problem. So he let him come down. And he was there, I think, just like on weekends and stuff, because he was still in school. Sure. And it got to the point where my son actually just started consigning stuff in his shop. So he was selling a lot of his product out of the store.
Nice.
So, as time went on, the following year, he's like, I want to open a store. So I'm like, all right. I talked to my wife and I'm like, let's see what we can do. He really wants to open a store. And I said, it's only would be a great way for me to bond with him and spend time with him and get back into the sneaker game. And I love sneakers. He started getting into it. And I'm like, this is the perfect opportunity for us to do something together.
Yeah.
And, and I told my wife, I'm like, I don't want to wait till I'm 65 years old. I want to be able to do something with my kids now while I can.
Absolutely.
And here we are.
That's dope.
It's been good.
So, let's take it back a little bit with your love for sneakers, back in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Were you out there during the craze, during the streetwear hype, like the Supreme lines and all the other shoe drops and everything like that? Because I know the sneaker lines and the stories that happen out there are kind of crazier than what's happened here. Like I was telling you, the only story that I've been, I won't say a part of, but I heard about was the Concourse that dropped in 2011. And they tore that Foot Locker and River Center Mall apart. They broke the glass. They broke the cage down and ran in there and grabbed as many Concord 11s as possible. Wow. And yeah, that's why I never got a pair until recently. Shout out to my guy Soul. Yeah, my guy Soul, man. He hooked me up with he got me the Concords when they dropped with the 45 on the back.
There you go.
Yeah, I love these. And then another story that I had was when the South Beach 9s dropped. My wife was with me, and we went to Ingram Park Mall, and we happened to be in front of the line. And then these kids came out of nowhere from Whataburger. Supposedly they were waiting at Whataburger because they got kicked off the grounds at Ingram. And they jumped in front of us saying that you had to be on the list. And I'm like, what list are you talking about? Now, and at this point, I'm getting ready to fight because we was there from like 2, 3 in the morning till about like 7. And the kids that were waiting in Whataburger jumped in front of us. Long story short, they cut in front of us. And the employees at Foot Action let them. They were like, sir, get back there, blah, blah, blah. She ended up seeing a classmate that she used to go to school with. He ended up jumping in front of the line. He had a gun on him or something like that. Something happened. I'm like, whatever, you're still corny. And so we get there, and there's about maybe, like I said, 7 people in front of me, right? And there was a guy, he had to be at least 5'3". Walked out of there with a size 13. I'm like, dog, you are not a 13. But I know he was going to flip them. And then as soon as we get up there, size 13 sold out. I was hot. I was ready to fight. And the one dude, there was a tall guy that walked out of there. The one that said that had the list, he got his pair. And I was like, of course if I was that guy, I would punch you in your face and take your sneakers and run. But thankfully, I'm one of God's children, so I let him be. But those are my stories. I don't know if there's anything crazy that happened to you while you was in New York during those times.
There's tons of stories.
Yeah,
tons. I'd say probably 3 stories stick in my head. One was actually for the pigeons. So I was one of those crazy people. Not these.
Not the. Oh, okay.
Not these.
Okay.
So So I remember getting there. We were trying to find out exactly where they were going to be dropping at first. So it was just running all over the city trying to find them. We finally found a place, and we're like, all right, this is it. So we're going to camp out. We were camping out.
Yeah.
And then that morning, it was just chaos. When the news got out that they were actually going to be releasing them there, it was chaos. Fights, stabbings.
Wow.
It was crazy. I actually just left. I'm like, ain't no way in hell I'm going to stand here for these sneakers.
Right.
And that was actually a turning point where I was just like, I need to reevaluate my my sneaker collecting.
For sure.
Because it was really bad.
Yeah.
And that's when the Jordans came out, and people were getting shot and stabbed, and it was just to the point where they were trying to figure out how they were going to release them. Because, people were getting killed left and right.
For sure.
So I actually personally wasn't a Jordan 1 collector, so I didn't deal with any of that chaos.
Yeah.
But, I used to be in all kinds of sneakers, the Pumas, the shell top Adidas, all kinds of sneakers. So I didn't really have a specific kind. But I did have a lot of Dunks.
Yeah.
But that was one of the stories I think was pretty crazy. Also, I went to a Supreme drop, and that was chaos.
I know. I've seen stories and videos.
I actually have some videos. I'd probably have to show
them to you.
Yeah. So we're standing online for it was actually a CDG drop.
Mm-hmm.
CDG and Supreme were doing a drop for box logos.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
So I got there. It was probably about 2:00 in the morning, and there was probably 1,000 people standing outside.
Wow.
There was no line. It was just organized chaos, and everybody was just hanging out, smoking, drinking, hanging out in line in their little cliques.
Yeah.
And there was no real spot of where they were going to let everybody in for this drop.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say probably about 6 or 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
A security guy showed up.
Oh, man.
And the guy pulls up in the car, and everybody just swarms around the car. And the guy gets out of the car, and he's like, you people need to be in line. Nobody's going to get anything. And some guy, all I saw was a hand come through the crowd, grab this guy. They scooped him up, body slammed him, started stomping him out, took all the tickets because he was handing out tickets for like people standing in line. And they took all these tickets. Yeah. Stomped the guy, took all the tickets, started handing out tickets.
That's crazy.
And then 5 minutes later, all the cops are coming from all different areas.
Yeah.
And everybody just started throwing bottles at the cops. And it got to the point where the cops are just like, they dispersed.
Yeah.
And then the next thing, SWAT started coming.
Oh, shoot.
And I was like, yo, it's time for me to bounce.
It's time to go.
I actually went across the street, and there was a Starbucks.
Uh-huh.
So I actually went into Starbucks, and I actually just sat in there and watched all the chaos. It was funny because it was actually quiet. And so you just see everything going on.
It's like one of those comedy movies where you're just the soft
you don't
playing
hear
music
anything.
is playing. You don't hear anything.
You just see people fly in. It was just crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Wow.
And then the most recent one I would have to say was All-Star Weekend in Chicago.
Yeah, that was a big deal when Kanye was coming through with the tanks and everything like that, dropping.
So he actually came through.
I saw that. Yeah.
So we went to Jordan's. He threw like a party. It was like invite only.
Mm-hmm.
So we get there, we're all hanging out at the party, and then outside of the party, people still lined up for the sneaker drop.
Right.
They were releasing the Off-Whites.
Yes, the Off-White 5s, the sales.
Yep.
Which I want those.
They were actually releasing the airship package.
Yes. Oh, so you got them up there.
The double pack.
Oh, okay.
So they were actually releasing the double pack, the 5s, the lemonades, a couple different sneakers.
Yeah.
So basically, we went to the party. It was all celebrities. Everybody's hanging out. And after the party, we all went outside and stood online. So we're standing online, and it was brick out. It was like 20 below. It wasn't 20 below, but it could have been.
It could have been. Yeah, I saw the snow stick to the ground, so I can imagine.
So cold.
Yeah.
When you were breathing, it was just hurting your chest.
Yikes.
So we're standing online. There was somebody there from San Antonio, too. I can't remember exactly who it was.
Mm-hmm.
But he was actually towards the front of the line. I was like in the middle of the line. And we stood out there to about 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my goodness.
And we had some brandy to keep us warm. Stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll never forget, around 8:15, like 4 Suburbans pulled up. And they pulled up, and all these big guys pull up.
Yeah.
They all come out. They walk right to the front of the line.
Yeah.
And they just stand there, and they go like this.
Oh, my God. So they just cut in front of y'all and...
They cut in front of everybody. They went to the front. They gave their little dab to the guy at the door.
Oh,
they slipped them a little cash.
Oh, man.
They all walked in, and they all came out with they all had probably like 6 or 7 pairs.
That's crazy.
As much as they can carry.
Yeah. Wow.
And then they started loading it in the car, and then people in the crowd started going crazy.
I believe it.
Crazy. Because, we've been standing on line for all this time, and they just pull up like 4 cars, like
right.
20 people deep.
Yeah.
And they all walked out with like at least 5 or 6 pairs apiece.
Right. Which
so
almost leaves none left.
20 people.
Right. by the time the third person gets in there, oh, no, we're sold out. And it's like, wait, what?
Then there was somebody online who was he wasn't having it.
Yeah.
So he went up to the guy, and they started arguing. Pulled out a gun. The other guy pulled out a gun, and that was it. He just cracked it in the air. Everybody started running.
Mm-hmm.
He got shot. I don't know where they shot him. I didn't stay to see.
Yeah.
And that was the end of that drop.
Wow.
So it was it's crazy.
That's crazy, man.
And probably shouldn't have been there because it wasn't in the greatest of areas.
Sure.
So we came back the next day, and apparently they had some stuff they were going to be giving away. But then we're standing on line, and then who pulls up?
Kanye with the tanks.
With all his tanks started coming.
That's right.
So he started coming down. He was giving away Yeezys, so the whole line dispersed. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to the front of the line.
Right.
But, nah, it didn't happen.
Oh, man.
Didn't happen. So, actually, I didn't get anything that day.
Wow. The trip is one thing, but to leave with nothing, that sucks.
But, it was more for the experience.
Absolutely.
To network, to meet people, to hang out. I just went to go stand online to maybe get a pair of sneakers.
Sure.
I wasn't. It's like, whatever.
Like,
if I get it, I get it. If I
right.
don't, I don't. No worries.
For sure.
I just went there to go watch the game and hang out and,
Yeah.
So it's like, it is what it is.
For sure.
So
that's actually a great segue. When it comes to networking, I know there's a bunch of other sneaker boutiques that's kind of popping up as well.
Mm-hmm.
So say me, for example, I'm looking for the LA Dodger Dunks, and you may not happen to have a size 13.
Actually, I do.
I know you do. I was hoping no one would say that because by the time this airs, hopefully it'll be mine, and none of y'all will come to this down here and get it. So, do you happen to call like some of the other people here and be like, "Hey, I may not have them, but this store may have them," like a Soul Boutique or a Countdown SA? Or
honestly, I used to,
but
I don't anymore. Only because there's a couple people that I don't fuck with.
Gotcha.
So. And the reasons why I don't fuck with them is because, I welcome everybody with open arms.
Sure.
There's enough money for everybody here.
Absolutely.
But there's a right way and there's a wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
And the way these people were doing it is fucked up.
Gotcha.
So they're basically hitting up a lot of my clients in the DMs to tell them not to fuck with us, that we got what you need.
And that's whack. That's corny.
Facts, like all the players that I've known for a long time come to me and they're like, yo, who are these people, man? Why are they DMing me for me to go to their store and not shop with you? He's like, yo, that's pretty fucked up.
Wow.
And it's not one person. It's like 5 or 6 people that hit me up and they're like, yo, what's going on?
It's a damn shame.
So
yeah, that's super corny.
It's just fucked up.
Yeah.
I won't say the names, but I'm sure they're going to be watching this.
Absolutely.
And they're going to know exactly who I'm talking about. Exactly.
For sure. And that's wrong. That's wrong because, I mean, like you said, there's money in this for everybody. And especially if it's all for the love of sneakers, you know what I mean? And everybody trying to get what they want. They should know, not to behave in such a manner. And sure, one argument is, well, the business side of things. But there's another side where it's, I don't know. Man, I'm just a man of ethics and code of honor and all that stuff. You know what I mean? And if I got to know you a little bit. Yeah. You're a pretty nice guy. If I be like, hey, I may not have these sneakers, but Eddie over here at True North, he got them. Yeah. And he'll look out for you and he'll take care of you. Yeah. You know? At least that's me.
And there's another thing with some people fly by night, open up a store. Yeah. So there's people that are into it to make money. And then there's people that are into it because they enjoy the culture. They enjoy sneakers and clothing.
Absolutely.
You know, because me personally, I don't need to have this store, open this store. I mean, I'm perfectly fine just doing my regular job. But it's something my son loves. Yeah. And it's something he loves to do. And, you know, I'm going to be here for him to help him out. But there are some stores that I fuck with. And, you know, I'll send them to, like, Most Doubted, Hype Goods. Yeah. There's a couple stores that I'll send customers to. Yeah. Felix, Soul Boutique.
Soul Boutique. Yeah.
He's been around for a minute. But, like I said, there's guys that I just don't fuck with. Yeah. You know, because they do shit the wrong way.
Gotcha.
And, you know, I let them just keep digging their hole because they're just going to dig themselves and so deep that they probably won't be around.
For sure. Yeah. Now, you were speaking on your son earlier about him buying sneakers and flipping them and things of that nature. Talk about that for a second. Like, how important, especially for, you know, future entrepreneurs and businessmen out there, how important is it to, you know, when it comes to starting a business up, saving your money and investing into the business versus seeing like an abundance of money up front from opening this up, like you said, doing it for the money.
So,
and you know what I mean?
Actually, it's a great question. So when we first opened this store, so my son's like, hey, I want to open a store. I want to open my own store.
Gotcha.
So after he left with Felix, he's like, I want to get my own place. So like, okay. He's like, but I want to do it on my own. You know, with all the money I saved and all the product I have, I want to do it on my own. So I was like, all right. I said, we can try. But I don't know anybody who's going to lease a building to a 17-year-old. But let's try.
Right.
And we went to like 5 or 6 places, and everybody turned them down. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to help you out. Let me sign a lease, and you can do everything on your own.
Yeah.
I said, you know, because there's a lot of people say, oh, you were born into money. And I said, you know, I work hard for my money.
Absolutely.
And this whole thing is all him. You know, I might help him, but how I help him is getting the product. I'll go to Cali and pick up product. I'll go to New York to pick up the pinball machine. I'm just basically, I do all his footwork.
Sure.
You know, but this is all his.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of people that are quick to jump to conclusions and assume, you know, that it's easy for him because it was all handed to him.
Gotcha.
But like I said, they don't see behind the scenes. They don't see all the struggles and everything that
the hard work
is
that y'all
involved
put
with
into
it.
Absolutely.
He's definitely learning the business. He's learning to save. He's understanding, you know, the way the sneaker culture is going. He's got his eyes further in the picture of what he's gonna do. Hopefully, one day he'll get to explain it to you. You know, I don't want to
come on the show
it for him. And you know, he'll kind of sit down with you and kind of tell you what his plans are.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just here for the ride and gonna help him out as much as I can.
Now, one question that I had looking at this story, and I instantly thought of, you know, the sneaker boutiques here and all of that, because I personally don't know how, you know, this may work. But Nike, with the whole trying to stop cracking down on the resellers and things like that, have y'all looked into it, and does it affect y'all in any way?
Honestly, it doesn't affect us at all.
Okay.
Because like I said in the beginning, I built up a lot of relationships, and I basically don't get any of my product here in San Antonio. I used to in the beginning. We used to do buyouts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it got to the point where all we were doing was buying product, you know, and then we got the reputation of just buying the product, and we were paying the most. And I'm like, we got to end this.
Yeah.
You know, because it's hard to get the product here in San Antonio.
Definitely is.
So I said, we need to venture out and we need to go elsewhere because, for instance, like these right here, like I was telling you, they're size 15. So
Crazy.
This stuff doesn't come to San Antonio.
Right.
I mean, 13 is usually the highest size. Occasionally there'll be a 14, but anything in those sizes is like impossible.
Right.
So, with all my networking in LA, in New York, in Miami, Chicago, I've met a lot of people that actually I have a circle of people that I get all my product from.
Yeah.
So it's steady. The product is steady.
Nice.
It's basically I call and say how much I need and they'll just send it to me.
Nice.
And a lot of them, they don't get their product from the Foot Lockers or the JDs. They go straight to the source where, I don't want to say where, but they basically, they get it where it's not going to matter.
Absolutely.
What Nike tries to do because I'm always going to have the product.
Yeah.
So, but what Nike's doing, I mean, it's going to help.
Yeah.
I mean, they need to do something.
Because, yeah.
As far as the bots, we never had a bot. It's too expensive. You really got to know your shit. You got to know somebody who knows what they're doing. And you got to constantly keep paying them to update it and stay on top of it.
Yeah.
So we just never really messed with the bots, to be honest.
It's crazy how the bots work. I didn't know it was like maintenance. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
But there are a lot of people that actually use the bots. And they're kind of digging themselves in a hole because when that shit ends,
now what?
Now how are they going to get their product?
Exactly.
So it's very important to actually build relationships with the right people because when that happens, it's going to be ugly.
Yeah.
It's going to be ugly. Because I know as of next month, all the Champs stores, all the dunks are getting pulled. So Champs is not going to have any more dunks.
Oh, wow.
Come the following month, come December, they're pulling all the J's out.
Really?
So they're going to pull all the Jordans out, all the dunks out, and then it's just slowly going to take everything out.
Yikes.
All the Nike clothing. So basically all the Champs stores are going to be like running stores and sports stores.
Yeah.
And then they're just going to go down the line. They're finishing their contracts with all these sneaker companies. With Finish Lines, with JDs, with all of them.
Wow.
So basically they're going to bury them because, I mean, if you go to all those stores, 90% of their sales is all Nike.
Yeah, exactly.
So once they pull out all their Nike product, clothing, sneakers, and everything, they're not going to survive on Adidas and Pumas and all the other stuff. Not to knock the other brands, but
sure.
It
is what it is.
Pretty tough.
Yeah.
So basically, all those sneaker stores will be obsolete, and Nike's basically going to put Nike stores.
Yeah.
So they'll still keep their outlets, but they're going to open Nike stores. And basically, if you want Nikes, you got to go to the
Nike store. Makes sense.
They're cutting all the middlemen out.
Yeah.
They're at the point where they're like,
we'll do it ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yikes.
So people are going to try and build relationships with Nike, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah, for sure.
It's going to be tough.
I can imagine now. Well, if I can't get the Dodgers in the size 13 now, I may never get them.
and it's funny because San Antonio, we only have one store here in San Antonio that gets SBs, which is Delhi Skate.
Delhi, which I entered the raffle through Delhi.
Yeah, I've entered tons through there.
Yeah.
I gave up. It's it basically is.
It hurt. It hurt.
I mean, they get 11, 12 pairs.
Yeah.
For how many people in San Antonio?
Right. Good luck.
How many people here? What? 2 million people. 2 million people in San Antonio, and they get 12 pairs of SB Dunks for all of San Antonio.
Yeah.
There's a problem.
That's a problem. That's a problem.
You got to go to Austin, and Austin, that's on lock, so good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
So it's just crazy. I mean, 12 pairs.
It's crazy. Yeah. That's insane.
You've been at the store for how long?
We've been here 4 years.
And within those 4 years, where would you say? Because I see you a lot, basically everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
when artists come to town, like I see Eddie.
You got to
I'm
come
always,
see it.
yeah, I'm always networking. Growing up in New York too, I went to school with a lot of hip hop artists, so I've kept relationships with them, and I meet them, I hang out with them, and then they introduce me to newer artists, and then they introduce me to managers. So I'm able to network a little more.
Yeah.
So that's why, like for instance, Simba was out here, and through a friend, a very good friend of mine, she's like, "Hey, Simba's gonna be in town." He called me up. I went down to the Aztec to go check him out.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of networking. And as far as here in the store, we did a lot of things paying it forward to a lot of young people, because there's not really a lot of outlets for places for young, whether they're singers, designers, whatever it is that they do. There's not a lot of places for them to really express themselves, or like for clothing, for instance, we do a lot of pop-ups. Yeah. So, for instance, if you have your own clothing line, we'll say, hey, come do a pop-up here. We're not going to charge you anything. We want you to do all your marketing, all your merchandising, everything. I want you to do everything on your own. Mm-hmm. You'll come here. We'll post it on our story, post it on a page. But we want you to get the experience of interacting with a customer, sales, just everything, to see if it's something you really, really want to do. And they'll come here and they'll spend the whole day. And some guys will sell a lot, some won't sell anything. Yeah. But they're getting that experience. We've had people who are pastry chefs. They come here, they do pop-ups, pastry chefs. We've had musicians that come out here and, they'll come here and sing.
Yeah, which I've seen. I'm not physically been here to see somebody, but I've seen the stories of. Shout out to 7098. I know he did a show definitely out here.
And actually, he was here. They did a rap battle.
Oh yeah.
And he was one of the contestants.
Okay.
That was in the rap battle. But we do a lot of different things for the community. Mm-hmm. And recently, we hooked up with MPV Vibes, which comes here, and it's an outlet for artists to come and, interview and get their music out there on the app and stuff like that. It's important to engage with everybody in the city, no matter what it is they do, to get them involved.
Absolutely.
And try and help them out in any way we can help them out. Like I said, if it's music, I can give them some advice and what they can do, because honestly, it's really hard here in San Antonio for somebody to take off. Yeah. So I try and say, hey, maybe you need to move to LA, or you need to move to Miami or Atlanta, because that's what music is really popping.
For sure.
And because staying here, it's going to be really tough.
Yeah.
To get anywhere. The same thing with clothing designers, they're to the fashion. I'm like, you got to get out there. You can't just stay here. You got to market your stuff elsewhere. Hook up with DM all these stores in other cities and try and get out there. Try and do a pop-up here. Try and do one in New York. Try and do one in LA. Yeah. And just get your product out there. I mean, you just never know. And it's really important to give back to the community in any way I can.
For sure.
Whether it's toy drives or meet and greets. We always do a lot of meet and greets. All the meet and greets we do are all free to the city, and we have tons of them here. Yeah. Tons. And we usually do one every month. We haven't done one recently because of the weather. It was
right.
So now it's finally starting to cool off a little bit.
For sure.
So, we're going to start doing them again. People can wait outside. It's a little easier.
For sure.
To wait outside now. Before it was just
too hot, man. I know.
It was brutal. It was brutal.
And it's been nice the last couple of days, man. So cool fall weather. I like it. Man, that was crazy. I was just about to ask you kind of the ending closing question was, any advice for future entrepreneurs, but I think you kind of hit the nail in the coffin, unless there's some other extra advice you want to give them.
No, I mean, the key to a lot of businesses, me personally, I think is networking. You have to network. You have to get out there. whether it's whatever it is. I mean, this whole sneaker thing, like you were saying earlier, you see me all over the place. That to me is really important, where you're visiting other cities, networking with people. For instance, I'll have somebody come from LA, play for the Lakers. I won't say any names, but we've had, when the Lakers come here, they're in town, they'll come here and we'll basically close the doors and they'll shop and hang out. Yeah. And it's all because I met a player somewhere and they're like, oh, yo, when they come to San Antonio, come check it out, and they'll come hang out. Yeah. And they'll come through and I'll hang out 2 or 3 hours and bullshit. Some will buy stuff, some will just hang out, some will play NBA 2K. Yeah. They won't play themselves, they'll play other teams. So it's always funny to watch, Yeah. I'm like, oh, let's see who he's going to play. What team is he going to pick? Right. Yeah. And but I think that networking is just really, really key and important. I had mentioned to you earlier when we had our store in Miami. Mm-hmm. So we had a store in Miami and we were there probably for about a year. Unfortunately, we had to close down because of everything going on, the protesting and COVID. Yeah. We ended up getting looted and they screwed up a lot of the buildings in the neighborhood. But it was great times. I mean, that store was doing phenomenal. We actually got to meet a lot of people there, which actually still keep in touch with us to this day. Mm-hmm. We did Super Bowl weekend. Oh, wow. So we did a pop-up with Nate Robinson and Carlos Boozer. Nice. And tons of people came through. Tons of people. It was good. And then I was telling you, we did that Drink Champs. The
Drink Champs.
So I remember, we did the Drink Champs with Floyd Mayweather came through. Right. And it was just great, just talking to him and talking with his entourage and meeting people. And to this day, like some of those people, they'll come to the store and then they just tell somebody else. So I think that networking is definitely key.
For sure.
Definitely key.
And networking builds relationships, and relationships take you a long way.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Like I was telling you too earlier, like my week, I was like, I got to do this. Tomorrow I'm going to go see Michael Rappaport, which is from New York, which I knew him. So I'm going to see him do stand-up tomorrow. So, like I said, San Antonio never gets anything. So he was originally supposed to come down here, but, they didn't want to pay to have him at LOL. So where is he going to be? In Austin. So it's tough.
We got to do better, people.
It's just tough, man. It's tough, and especially when there's a lot of like concerts and stuff going on. It's just there's not enough help, not enough people out there spreading the word. Yeah. That's another whole story. So we won't even get into that.
We'll do it next time you come on here, man. For sure.
That's just another story for another day.
For sure, man. Man, I appreciate you coming on here and taking your time and opening your doors to us, man.
No, definitely, man. Anytime, man. I was definitely looking forward to it. I do watch the show.
Thank you.
I love the show.
Thank you.
I love the crazy ass Norm show.
Shout out to Norm, man. He actually tried. It's funny because Norm tried to help me with the Dodger SBs. I think that's like the theme of this episode is the doggone SBs. He tried to help me out with those too, man. But shout out to Norm. That's my guy.
Actually, did they even get him over there at Deli Skate?
So they did get him, but on the email it said they had a full size run. So a size 13 was in the email. Mm-hmm. And then Norm ended up hitting me and was like, they didn't even get a 13. So, but Norm ended up looking out for me, talking to Shorty, and shout out to Shorty, to see if they had something for me, but maybe restock or something, or I can just cop a pair here at True North.
Yeah, definitely. We have one back there, but it's funny because all those Dodgers were getting released in parts.
I saw that.
They weren't releasing them all at once. They we're going to send 2,000 pairs to San Francisco, then we're going to send 2,000 pairs to Miami, and then sent it out little by little, which is kind of weird the way they did that. Yeah. But I think Nike has something planned with the way they're dispersing their drops.
I guess it was, I don't want to say timing because, when the Phillies came out, I don't think baseball season was even going yet when the Phillies dunks came out.
Actually, no, they weren't.
Yeah. They weren't. I was like, so why are they dropping, a little at a time? And then of course Dodgers, being one of the best teams in baseball. Well, not now. They're out of the playoffs. It sucks, but yeah. I mean, I was sitting there thinking they're probably just doing, special releases.
And the Phillies were up there too, but they got knocked out.
They got knocked out.
And we actually didn't get any of those dunks.
Oh no.
Because I just didn't think Philly dunks would do good here.
Right. That makes sense.
In San Antonio. So
yeah.
LA, it's a staple, so I knew they would do good.
For sure. Yeah. But yeah, man, first off, let the people know the address of the store in case they want to come shop with you.
So if you decide you want to come check it out, we're at 332 West Sunset Road, suite number 7. Just look for the True North sign right up top and come through. Come check out what we got. If we don't have it, let us know, and we'll try and locate it for you. Nice.
And your socials, if they want to holler at you on social media?
Instagram at True North SA. Facebook, I don't even know if we're on Facebook. I don't think we're on actually any of the other platforms.
Nah, just Instagram.
Honest. Just Instagram.
Okay.
We kind of just keep it simple.
For sure. For sure.
If you build it, they will come.
Yo, do the drop. You know what I'm saying? Eddie, appreciate you, man.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And we're definitely I'm gonna holler, look at them Dodgers before we get up out of here. Your boy Mazi at Mazi's World Official on IG. Thank y'all for tuning in. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Maserati. So focused, I just need some meaning to my name. Plus I'm cheating with these codes. If you thinking it's a game, that's real talk.